Hey there, YouTube. Jared here with Godhammer227. You must be wondering, who the hell is this ginger kid that's on my screen right now? I think I've seen him before, but it's been so long I can't remember. Well, it has been absolute hell between school and work to try and get on here and make videos, which just hasn't worked out for weeks now. So, I wanted to come on today because this day marks a milestone in my pipe smoking history. Because today, like the great Huckleberry Finn in the Mark Twain classic, I am taking a trip down the Mississippi River. Seattle Pipe Club's Mississippi River, of course, anyone who smokes a pipe knows this. So, I got it from pipesandcigars.com. I figured, you know what, it's time. I need to make this leap. I need to do this for myself and treat myself. So I bought this can. I think it was like $8. It wasn't bad. And actually, I'm surprised it got here as fast as it did because it's usually completely out of stock. So I am going to fire this up and let you know how I feel about it, give you my impressions. So I'm getting a little bit of sweetness. Definitely. It is kind of hard to keep it lit just because it was so moist. But definitely taste Virginias are very strong, but it's very good. Sweetness to it, definitely. I'm tasting the Orientals. Kind of like a little side note, back note, whatever you want to call it. Easy on the retrohale. It doesn't burn your nose or anything. And it smells very earthy. Kind of having a hard time describing this one because, of course, you don't really have anything like, oh, it smells like Virginia or like vanilla and smells like cocoa. Yeah, so definitely got an earthiness to it, like a kind of a down south dirt and grass kind of smell. So anyone who's a fan of, the down south feel, definitely, I think would like this. And it's got a little bit of sweetness. The sugars in there are very subtle, but very sweet. And not getting any bite. So as far as I can tell right now, no bite at all. Which is very good because I hate tongue bite. Absolutely ruins the experience. When you keep getting tongue bite, and eventually your tongue just goes numb and you're not even tasting anything. Like when you bite into food way before it's cool, or you drink hot coffee or hot soup or whatever. It's very good, very good. I'm not quite sure if I would call it better than Orlick Golden Slice, which I also got this when I got that. I got another 10 of it, so that when I open up this mason jar that I have stored down here in August, which will be a year of aging, I'm going to put that one back in it as soon as that's done aging and age that one for a year. So I like this. Very smooth, very mild. Definitely going to dry it out next time. Maybe I'll keep some out tonight and leave it for tomorrow. And just let it dry out. Still no bite. And I'm trying to puff on this pretty hard to see if it will bite. And so far, nothing. Nothing bitey or too ashy tasting. So I like it. Definitely would rebuy it. Can't say it's my favorite tobacco in the world. I'm not, super into Virginia's. Just my personal taste. I know that the Dagners, it's like their favorite thing ever, and they will endorse it to the death, and they die for it. But definitely a good one. Definitely worth trying out. And if you're just starting to get into Virginia's, I would definitely recommend this one. Zero bite, but it's got a very good kind of a lead into Virginia's, to the maybe more harsh stuff. They're not. I shouldn't say harsh. The more heavy hitter stuff. So, a little bit about what's been going on with me, if anyone cares to know. So, been working at the library, the public library, a lot. I'm working there several days a week, as well as, well, let's see. I only get one day off and alternating weekends every week. I get one day off every week, and then every other weekend I get a day off, or I get the weekend off. And then on top of that, I got school, and I'm going to school, just until I have to go to work. Some days I have to bring my work clothes to school and then change at work, and then, change before my shift and then go up to work. So that's the basics of what's been going on there, why I haven't had time to make a video, because, between those two things, I've hardly had time to sit down and eat. And then when I get home, of course, I've got schoolwork, essays, and stuff to write. Now, working at the library, and I'm going to try and make videos more often, which I always say, but I don't know. It depends on my schedule, if I can. But working at the library, I have run across a couple of serious characters. Now, in the spirit of privacy, keeping these people, kind of under the radar, I'll only use last names, although if you're from Hamilton, you probably know who these people are. All right, there's one, Mr. Price. Mr. Price is the first person I would ever talk about when I talk about crazy people at the library. He is a paranoid schizophrenic who often misses his doses, and is absolutely delusional. And it's pretty hilarious because he comes in and he will focus on one person. Usually it is a girl that I work with named Tess. Comes completely devoted to taking up every minute of their time. So, poor Tess is just too nice to say, go away. So whenever I can, I will take the bullet for her, as I call it. Basically, I will tell her, go do something. I got this. I'll sit down in the chair as I see him coming down the hall, because he's always going to sit down and talk to you for an hour about what he's got to order from this library, or do here or do there, or get me this number, or get me this address, and I got to find a job here and there's a... So he does everything, and he will come back 3 or 4 times a day just to do all these things. Really sorry this isn't staying lit. It's just really, really moist, and I probably didn't do a very good job packing it. You know what? I am getting just the tiniest little bit of bite, but that's just because I keep relighting it, so it's not even the tobacco's fault. Okay. So, one day I'm sitting there, and Mr. Price comes in, and Tess is not there, so he automatically comes to me. So he says, hi, Jared, because he can never remember my name, even though I have my name tag right here. It's got my name on it. Calls me Jeb. And then asks if I'm going to win the election, although that doesn't make sense anymore because Jeb Bush withdrew. So, he sits down and does his normal thing, talking about everything under the sun, and then he gets up and he goes to the reference collection, which is all the books, you know, the directories, stuff like that. And he says, I got to read every last one of these. I just got to make sure they're right. So I'm like, okay, do what you got to do. Because I don't care. So he sits there on a step stool and he picks up this ginormous book. It's probably got like 2,000 pages of phone numbers and addresses for Butler County. And what he does is he flips through it as fat, like just, and then he flips through it the other way, and then he flips through it back again, and he puts it back, and then he picks up the next one, which is just as big and just as crazy. Does the same thing. And I'm like, what in the world is he doing? And he tells me, I like to do this every couple months just to make sure they're still right. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, whatever he's got to do to satisfy his own weird delusions. And then he says, I can do it that fast because I have a bionic eye. I'm like, a bionic eye? Nice. Because you can't just call him crazy and tell him to get the hell out of your face. That's just not professional. So he goes on, and I kid you not, goes on for an hour and a half about how his buddy, who was secretly in the CIA, drugged him and put in a bionic eye that he was stealing from the government into Mr. Price's head, and how it's worth $2.3 billion, and the government's after him all the time. I mean, they're constantly after him. He sees black helicopters, black cars, and they're always hiding because they've got cloaking devices, but his bionic eye can see them. And he went on for an hour and a half at least about this bionic eye. Just kept going and going and going. He told me to Google it. So I go to the computer, and he can't see the computer from where he is. So I Google, just out of sheer spite, why do I encourage his delusions? And I hit enter, and it starts loading. First thing that comes up is a schizophrenia helpline. True shit. It was by far the most perfect Google search I had ever done. So I go back over to him, and I say, I can't find it anywhere. I can't find these bionic eyes on the internet. He says, really? Why not? I said, I bet you the government, they're trying to hide it from us. They don't want us to Google it. They don't want us to know about it. So you're the only one. You and me are the only people that know about this bionic eye. We got to keep it secret. Otherwise they'll know and they'll come after us. He's like, oh, yeah. So what should we do? I said, we should stop talking about it. Just don't, pretend you don't even know us. Pretend you don't even know us. So he goes, oh, okay, gotcha. So he looks down at these books and he keeps flipping through them. And then on his way out, he says, bye, I hope I meet you sometime. And he leaves. That was Mr. Price. And just to let you know, this is just one incident. There are countless, and I've only worked there for like 4 months or 4 or 5 months or something. So yeah, that's Mr. Price. He is one of the more fascinating characters. My next video, I'll have to make a little story about, or I'll have to tell a little story about Mr. Hurd. He is a Vietnam vet who is absolutely certifiably insane, also a schizophrenic, and he was part of the Black Power movement of the 70s during the Vietnam era. So he's all about Black Panthers and Nation of Islam. He's part of the Nation of Islam. So that'll be an interesting story to tell. But this Mississippi River, definitely good stuff. As I'm smoking it more and more, and of course I had to relight it like 1,000 times just because it's so moist out of the can. Definitely good. Definitely got a sweetness to it, but an earthiness that you would expect from a Virginia. And kind of a little bit of a back note, you can taste the Orientals and a little bit of the Latakia. I'm getting more and more of the Latakia as I go down. But thank you all for watching. Sorry it's been so long. Hopefully I can come back and make more soon because it has just been hectic. I've hardly even had time to make gains with my workouts because of school and work. So, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.